Good day, God bless you. Welcome back, guys. My name is Zach, and this is Fitness Fasting episode 28. So, the fact that I am going live right now means that I made it the first 24 hours of this week's fast, which is wonderful. Wanted to talk a little bit about just the psychology of getting through one day without eating. If you've never done it, it probably sounds challenging, but something that came to my mind today was, practicing something. Let's just say something silly like bench pressing 200 pounds or something. Something not everybody can do, but something that people that work out and bench press and lift weights all the time is very easy. So, why is that? Well, because they do it. So, you're going to get better at things you do. So, if you can't fast 24 hours, well, for one, just go for it. Tell yourself you're going to fast for 3 days and just freaking go for it. And so, having been through so many fasts, especially over the last 10 years, it's just so easy. It's almost like yesterday I said I'm going to take my fasting salts and make sure I can just keep this fast going for several days. And then it's so easy and I feel so good on day one, especially. Day one, two, three, you just feel great. And before you kind of start crashing where you have the explode, when you just have zero sugar left and you're switching over to just burning body fat. There can be a little bit of what they call keto flu when people on the keto diet, when they're transitioning, even though they're eating, they're still kind of simulating fasting because they're burning up all the glycogen in their liver and their muscles. But my point was that I've done it so many times that it's just more of a head game now. It's kind of like I say, my cold showers. Like I was trying to talk myself out of taking my cold shower today. And I was like, because, well, you're fasting. You're already doing something hardcore. You don't need to take a cold shower. And then I was like, whoop, cold. And then I realized, like, man, I don't even hyperventilate or breathe differently. And the water's just freezing cold. And I'm not like I was for months of starting out with it. And now that I'm years into it, it's nothing. My body's just used to it. Why? Because I did it over and over and over. And so that type of psychology of weight loss, how do I program myself to do what I want to do? I already know what I need to do. We all know how to lose weight. You know, I mean, I've been talking about moving more and eating less, but man, it's so much more um, about what you eat. Oh, I just got a mess. This is my 14-year-old son. I just have to step in at how awesome of a man he is. He just sent me a link. He didn't know I already read this book. And he's like, this is a great audio book I would recommend. And it's The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, which I've read about. I don't know. I don't want to exaggerate. I was about to say 10 times, but I probably listened to it 4 or 5 times. And I was just finishing up an Audible book. I finished one up today, and I started a different one. But now he's making me want to go back and listen to that one again. It is a great book. Uh, Let me just hit this guy up and tell him I've read it 5 times already. so 24 hours in, how do I feel? Amazing. Like for one, you're cleansed out because you still use the bathroom like normal. After a few days, you don't. And there's some things that you might want to look into if you're going to fast more than 72 hours. Like you need to be expelling toxins out of your body because fasting is attempting to flush them out. But since you have no food or fiber or anything going through your stomach. So there's a few different things you can do. And I'll just grab my little teacup that I use here to remind me. This was my black tea from yesterday. I still got sitting here. That there's some great laxative teas. There's a couple different ones. I'm going to have to go look through my tea and remember which one I like better because one of them cramps me all up and I don't like it. And it works, but it almost works too good where I don't feel good on it. And then there's another one. Oh, one of them's called Smooth Move. And I think that's the one I don't like, but I don't remember. And anyway, I'll be 48 hours into the fast tomorrow, so I'll for surely need to be drinking the tea by tomorrow, but I'm going to drink it tonight because it works like overnight. So what do you get out of a 24-hour fast? Besides it's strengthening your psychology more than anything because, I have enough sugar in my body my liver. I'm pretty athletic, even though I'm overweight. I have a high glycogen storage capacity. Like I've ran 4 half marathons. So my body knows how to store a lot of sugar. So I ate a lot of food yesterday, more than usual, because I had a few pieces of this 15 grain seeded bread. And it's tiny little pieces that only have 70 calories a piece. But I had like 4 slices left. And I was like, well, I might as well finish these off because I'm not going to be eating for 4 days. And it's going to be all crusty by then. So it's probably not what I should have done. But um, the point is, my body is all carved up. So I don't feel any kind of lack of anything. I don't feel a lack of energy. I don't feel hungry at all. I'm to the point where I think my training with fasting is so complete that I probably have hunger pains and I don't validate them in my mind. They're not a signal to eat. When I have a hunger pain, I mean, because I was morbidly obese, type 2 diabetic, man, I'm not used to getting hungry for 20 years. I just ate way before I would get hungry, eat out of habit and boredom. And so now when I feel the hunger pain, it feels like victory. It feels like this is the right way. I'm on the right path. If I feel any kind of grumbling in my stomach or anything, and usually just a glass of water, lukewarm, kind of room temperature, or even warm, even almost like hot, not burning hot, but it seems to hit my stomach better and really wipe out what feels like hunger. And it's actually just some thirst, and just your body's flushing out so much sodium. So it can be important to get some sodium in with that water. So 24 hours into the fast, probably, you're going to lose a few pounds, but obviously it's not body fat because you haven't even burnt up all your sugar yet. But it can be motivating to jump on the scale. Let's say you weigh yourself before you go to bed one day, and then you sleep all night and fast all day, and then weigh yourself before you go to bed the next night. You're going to weigh significantly less. Like it can be a lot, depending on what you ate the day before and what kind of, like, if you ate a bunch of fruits and vegetables, for example, like those tend to flush through you pretty rapidly. Like for me, if I ate a bunch of grapes one day, I'd be all heavy from all this water weight. But then grape seeds are diuretic, and they flush all out the next day, and I'd probably weigh 5 pounds less in one day. But you didn't burn 10 pounds of fat or 5 pounds of fat. So be realistic and just click along. I'm busting out my calculator here real quick, and I'm going to say like 3,500 calories is what you need to burn to lose 1 pound of body fat once you get into ketosis. So let's just times that by like to lose 5 pounds. So to lose 5 pounds, you need to burn 17 to learn 5 pounds of body fat, not 5 pounds of body water, not 5 pounds of cleansing out your lower intestines and your bowels, cleaning out. Yeah, you lose 15 pounds doing that, like on a weight cut, like MMA fighters. You see them with the sauna suit on and getting colonics and enemas and flushing their body out. Lose 20 pounds in a day. That's not body fat. We're trying to lose body fat. So, you need a 17,500 calorie deficit. Let's say you're going to lose 5 pounds in 2 weeks. So 17,500 divided by 14 days is a 12,500 calorie deficit per day to lose 5 pounds in 2 weeks. And of course, fasting is going to be like double that, so it takes about 1 day to get into ketosis. You might not, I'm not even going to bother to test the ketone strips today because I have never tested positive for ketones after a 24-hour fast. And seldom have I had anything show up even after a 48-hour fast. I'm zooming around my room right now trying to remember where my ketone strips are. They're around here somewhere, though. We'll find them. We got some Rubik's cubes. we'll get the strips out because that'll be fun to check at about the 72-hour mark. And where is my chat at? You guys come and say hi to a guy. Live chat. Oh, there we go. Angel, you were on. I had my chat in the wrong spot. You'll break your fat. Yeah, so the commenters asking about how to break the fast. And so, like in the past, I have not concentrated on that very well. because I'll just go on a fast and I'll be like, well, I'm just going to eat whatever I want. It's like fasting is the punishment for being an overeater. And my evolution in fasting now has taught me like fasting is the reward that you're giving yourself for your health. And a healthy way to break a fast is just very light. I've not really been good at it yet, but I know how to do it. So like maybe like a half of a grapefruit or even a whole grapefruit, but diluted with some water, which would be my spring water, would be a great way to break a fast because you haven't digested anything. Now, if you're talking about a 24-hour fast, you really don't need to be gentle on your digestion. You still have digestive enzymes. The reason you need to break a fast so mildly, let's say you fast 10 days. Well, by then you don't have the digestive enzymes. Let's say I eat a lot of meat, but then I go 10 days without eating anything. Well, then there's not going to be the digestive enzymes in my body, in my stomach, in my tract, your gut biome to digest meat. So then you eat a big steak at first meal after 10 days. It's going to be delicious in your mouth and it's going to hit your stomach and you're going to feel terrible. But is it super unhealthy? Like, you're just not digesting it well, and it's the same thing with, you definitely wouldn't want to eat processed foods. Or like one time years ago, I made a weight loss bet. This is way back, probably over 10 years ago. Yeah, definitely over 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And I did some fasting to win this weight loss bet. It was who could lose the most weight in like 45 days. And I lost a ton of weight. Like I don't even remember, but it was like 70 pounds or something because I was fasting almost the whole time. And the first thing I ate was Taco Bell. And I was for real dying in pain for like 12 hours after I ate that. It was just, not to pick on Taco Bell, but any kind of processed food, any kind of fast food. I mean, just never eat that. That just, I don't know why I got out on that sidetrack, but it's like, I'm probably only going to fast 4 days here. So I'll be right on the edge of, I should probably break it with, something easy, something healthy. And the commenters putting like favorite meal, etc. Like what, because you're looking forward to eating again, right? Because you're suffering and struggling. Are you doing content for now on with earphones? Yeah, there's some background noise a lot here in this house, and so sometimes I throw the headphones on just to drown out the other. I don't think it comes through, but it helps me concentrate. I don't hear people talking and watching TV in the other rooms. And the sound is a little better. It's not like the most expensive mic or headphone or anything, but it definitely picks up the sound better than just my little laptop here that I'm recording on. But getting back to like what I'm going to eat for the meal, there's all kinds of, like, I was fascinating about food right away, because it's like, hey, I'm going to go 4 days without eating. It's like, oh, what are you going to eat? And I think I'm going to stick to just a lot of fruits and vegetables this time. Like maybe break it, like I said, with some kind of citrus with water and just drink that and then let it settle. Because it'll be like the 5th day when I eat. We'll see how I do it. If I eat on my 4th day of work, which will be a 4-day fast, like if I eat for dinner this coming Saturday, or if I just wait till Sunday, my day off, and then have breakfast. And then that way it'll end up being more like a, what would that be? 106, 108, 110 hour fast, something like that. And then I can break it a little gentler and a little slower because I know I go into this feeding frenzy, and I just want to prevent that this time. I really want to look at it as, okay, I'm going to fast and for 4 days, and then I'm going to eat healthy for 4 days for the next several months. And, kind of looking at my fiance getting here and being fit and healthy, and, even for if we go take some photos, some wedding photos, it's going to be the smallest little wedding of all time. But, we're just going to get it done probably at the courthouse and maybe have some celebration, get some nice clothes on, and at least maybe get some photos taken and stuff. And I'd love to be, a lot thinner than I am now and feeling better. And talking about feeling better, I woke up I don't know, I slept great last night, but I didn't sleep a long time. I only slept about 5 hours. and I popped my eyes open at about 3 in the morning. And I was trying to wake up at 4 anyway, because I've been talking about that, guys, if you've been following along, that I've been trying to get up at 4 o'clock to go to the gym before work or even on my days off, to just get up early and go, just be that 4 a.m. guy. And so I woke up at 3 o'clock today, and I hadn't planned on staying up. I just went and took a leak, and I was going to lay back down, and then I was kind of awake, and I checked my phone. And as soon as I checked my phone, I realized, okay, you're not falling back asleep. So let's just stay up, and then we'll just get going here pretty soon. So by 4 o'clock, I got up and just threw my shorts and tank top and some running shoes and headed out the door and got to work, a good hour early. I started at 6:30. Oh, might have been even more like 90 minutes early. But I did some running and some weightlifting, and talking about the fasting though. So see, at that point, I really am not in a fasting mode yet, because like I said, I ate a little bit of extra food, some extra bread and stuff for dinner last night, and I felt it still weighing me down. So I went 2 miles on the treadmill, but it didn't feel great. I was not liking it. Where, let's see, if I get there tomorrow morning, if I can get there by 5 a.m., that'll give me plenty of time to run a couple miles. And I bet you I feel a lot lighter on my feet. Your gut's not full of just shake and bake. Woo, I am feeling the cotton mouth though. I did not drink a whole lot of water today. I had my black tea for breakfast. Oh, which, by the way, I do always drink my black tea while I'm fasting. Some people, like they say, water fasting. And I do consider it still a water fast, because there's virtually 0 calories in black tea, and it's just made out of water. And black tea is actually just toasted green tea, but it just enhances the caffeine content. So if you like black coffee, and just ramp it up, and just drink a bunch of black coffee and a couple, 2, 3, 4 cups, whatever you can handle. I can't handle too much coffee anymore, but that'll really fuel you for the day to get your that hunger, suppress that hunger and get you through the first day without eating. And like I said, it's more in your head than anything else when you get used to understanding that you can skip a meal, and this hunger is going to go away, anyway, even without eating. You think you get hungry, you have to eat, otherwise it's never going to go away, because you've never skipped a meal and you never felt hungry and then didn't eat. So it actually goes away to the point where, especially when I fasted for like over, somewhere in that 5th or 6th day, there's absolutely 0 hunger. Like, you don't get hungry at all anymore. Your body is way into autophagy, and it's cellular rebuilding, and you have increased testosterone and increased growth hormone, and it's really preparing your body to go beast mode to be able to capture some food. Chase down a rabbit or wrestle down a deer or something, to get some food. So it would be detrimental to human survival if we got weaker as we didn't eat, because then as soon as you missed a meal, you'd get weaker. You miss another meal, you get weaker. We'd all be extinct, but we're not, because that's not how we work. We actually get stronger. Like bodybuilders over the last 10 years, I figured it out. Like the big fake ones, even, that are pumped full of what do you call it? Steroids. They know to go on short fast too, because it ramps up their growth hormone and their testosterone naturally, and then plus they're taking the steroids. So then they know how to get them really swolled up before a contest, and then they get all dehydrated to look ripped like that. But talking about getting all dehydrated, I did order my sauna suit. I was on my bike yesterday, put the 15 kilometers on there, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get a sauna suit to just sweat it out here. So hopefully that shows up in the mail pretty quick here. I think I just ordered it on Amazon, and I got a little heavier duty one than I normally would have got years ago when I was a Golden Gloves boxer. You got to cut weight before a fight. I'd buy those cheap ones at Walmart for like $5, but this one was more like $40 or $50. So it's a significantly higher quality one. Let's see, arriving, because I really want to post a video just dripping in sweat with this thing. Oh, when does it say it's arriving? I don't say when it says it's arriving. But it will get here, and we'll get all ripped and sweaty on that. So how do I get to the 48 hours, you may be thinking? You got through one day. And it's just a lot, like I said, it's just a lot of head game. It's a lot of tricking yourself and believing in yourself. And just, I was coming up with little sayings in my head today. God, I can't even think of them. I'm kind of one of those funny guys that can only be funny when you're talking to me, and then I use everything you're saying as like the punchline. And I was kind of doing that to myself in my head today, like, oh, you want to eat? And then I was making a little joke about it. And like, do you want to eat and face defeat? Or do you want to, you want to skip dinner and be a winner? Like just stupid stuff like that. And it just motivates the heck out of me to continue on and choose to be the winner. I was thinking about NFL athletes just as an example of this kind of philosophy of like, you got to do shit that sucks, like eat cold showers and stuff. Which, by the way, NFL athletes dump in an ice bath after the games for what reason? Massive cellular repair. NFL athletes have done shit that sucks for like 20 years before they got to the NFL, at least 15. If you started playing football in Pee Wee and then played all the way through college and then got drafted, you've been playing football for like 15 years and busting your ass in the gym and in camps and, in training and practices and two-a-days and just puking in the summer heat, And the point is, that's what you got to do. You got to realize like there's no super easy way to get good at shit, like you want to be able to do 1,000 push-ups, like it's gonna suck. Like you're gonna have to work your ass off, you're gonna have to bust your ass pumping and pumping and pumping. Like it's not easy. You want to run a marathon, like it's not gonna be like, oh, let's download this Couch to Marathon app. You're gonna, and it's just gonna, oh, look at the 150 simple steps to run a full marathon. I busted my ass 5 years ago, whatever it was. Yeah, 5 years ago almost now, when I ran my first half marathon. And, but I had been out working out and hiking and putting that amount of miles a day, between 12 and 15 miles a day, just out hiking, and then going jogging 5, 6, 7 miles at the time. And then, okay, I stepped up my game and ran a half marathon after 8 more weeks of training. But I already had that base there. I had a lot of work put in. It reminds me of people saying that overnight success. They forget the busting their ass for all them years, and then all of a sudden there's this overnight success. It's like, no, it wasn't overnight. The man or woman put the work in and busted their ass for a long time. Same with like businessmen and like I don't even like Jeff Bezos much, or definitely don't like Bill Gates, but you look at the founding of their businesses and they weren't like overnight successes, especially Bezos. I mean, he was selling books out of his garage back in the 80s with a little folding table with a desk on it with a sign over his head that said Amazon. It legit, it was an online bookstore. That's it. If you don't know the story, it's kind of funny. But you know what? He busted his ass and never gave up and kept believing in himself. And oh my God, he grew one of the largest businesses in the world today. It's incredible. I mean, they got their own airports. There's whole Amazon airports that all there is airplanes moving packages around. It's crazy. They're bigger than the other airports. Anyway, I got a little sidetracked there, maybe a lot of sidetracked, because I'm feeling great. I'm this 24 hours in. I always say it, if you've watched all my fasting videos way back from last January, February, March, and then if you watch this fitness fasting series, and I love that I named it fitness fasting, because I do fasting for fitness. I'm not trying to lie to myself. I believe in Jesus, but I'm not like doing some holy fasting or anything. I'm not fasting and praying. I should be, but I'm just trying to be honest about it and be like, you know what? I fast for health reasons. And yeah, it's a lot more than weight loss, but what motivates me to do it is that I'm overweight, and I was overweight. I'm going down in weight dramatically, and I'm going to win. That reminds me to pop up. Let me open up my Diet Bet app, and I can give you guys a little more of an overview about like how this is motivating me. So I got on this app. I don't know. I ran into it on Facebook, I think. And I was like, you know what? I've heard of these before, where you can like make money losing weight. Because I've done it so many times. Like I've lost large chunks of weight a bunch of times in the last, 10, 15 years. People have said, why don't you do those? You could be making money. But I never found one until now. So here's an example, So that was the second one. Let me look at the first one I signed up at. So 162 people, each pledged $40, plus the app pumps in a little more, and it's $6,480. And so I weighed in on March 18th, and it ends 4 weeks later on April 14th. It's got my initial weight, it's got my goal weight, and then in the middle it's got the current weight, and it's got a little progress bar of like how far you are along percentage wise and getting to your goal weight. So for this one, I'm like 92% of the way already, because I had pigged out all day, and I literally gained like the whole amount I need to lose in the one day. So when I weighed myself the next day, I almost was already down. So this one's kind of cheating. But the second one, so I was like a week later, I'm like, okay, let me get a more realistic one where my initial weight was like 261.6 pounds. And so my goal weight is 251.1 pounds. So it'll be 10.5 pounds lost in 4 weeks. And this one has 223 people that joined it for a pot of $9,420. And so that $9,420 gets divided amongst how many of the 223 people win, which means they have to lose 4% of their body weight in the 4 weeks. And they got a way to check you, that you take a picture of yourself standing on the scale, and they make sure there's nothing touching the scale, and you zoom in on it, and so you show the clothes you have on, and so it's hard to cheat. And I mean, I'm sure there's people, a small percentage of people that cheat these things, but even if they cheat, they can't possibly steal your money. All you can do is win or lose if you're an honest person like I am. So I'm either gonna get my $40 back plus the division of the money of the people that don't win, or I'm gonna lose $40. But either way, it's gonna be motivating. But I'm way more motivated by not wanting to lose. Like I'm a competitor, like when I was a Golden Gloves boxer and I got popped in the face, I never got scared of it. I never felt the pain. I was like, dude, I'm about to jack you up is the only thing I thought. Even if when I lost some fights too, but like, it's just the competitor in me is like, you get punched, you got to punch back. Oh yeah, so there's some motivational, they're kind of leaving little comments on here. It's workout Wednesday. I got out early for a morning run before work. Did you get your workout in today? So yeah, this is fun. So I'll get on here and I'll comment on this one. Like, hey, I got up at 4 a.m. I ran a couple miles, and so this is just helping me a lot. I mean, obviously the YouTube channel, I started the YouTube channel just for my own benefit. Like, Zach, you got to let go of these women you've been chasing, and you got to start chasing your own joy and happiness within yourself. And a part of that was just to love myself and take care of myself. And it's been an up and down journey. I've been down as much as 36 pounds, and then I've gained it mostly back now. And now I'm just hard at it again, and it's 2024 and it's time to just blow it up. And I think, because there's just no way I'm going to want to get on here, because I'm going to tell you about the bets I make on these apps as they go. I'm going to start a new one every week, by the way. So the one I started like a week and a half ago, and the other one I started half a week ago. So I'll start another one in a few days, and it'll just be a rolling ones, and that way I'll just have it to keep losing weight throughout the summer. And then I won't want to get on here and say, oh, I lost the $40, So I like to compete like that, and it helps a lot. And like just sitting here talking about 24 hours in the fast, and now like 10 minutes has went by and I haven't even mentioned that I'm not eating, that I am fasting. It's like you lose that. Fasting is something you're not doing, really, right? You're not eating. So I like to focus on what you are doing. And what I am doing is getting up at 4 o'clock and going for a run and lifting weights and pumping some abs and doing some planks and looking at my app and weighing in and checking the app and where am I at? I'm 92% of the way to win for this one. Let me check the next one. Like, oh, this one I got to lose 8 more pounds to win this one. And then I'll check the next one next week. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be the key to victory. And somewhere along all these motivational books I read and all the self-help books, and I'm going to have to go, that the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius is crazy awesome. If you're into any kind of, Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic. And that book is so awesome. But I'm just pulling up my Audible here real quick, and I want to just, I mean, even silly things, rapid weight loss hypnosis, like, when I'm going to sleep once in a while. I haven't done it lately. I did it once about a week ago, but otherwise I hadn't done it for about 6 months. But it's it's just that positive affirmation going into your mind, going into your subconscious as you fall asleep. Cognitive behavioral therapy, which, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of just recognizing your behavior and then and learning how to change it into a positive way. And a bit, it's just being cognitive is the idea behind this therapy, and it's popular. Like, if you go see a psychiatrist, they're more than likely going to be trained in this brand of therapy. That's by Bill Andrews. Fast This Way. I haven't finished that book, but it's a fasting book. Inner Science, the new science of unlocking your potential, your inner potential. Mental Toughness. These books. What is that by Jocko Babin? He's pretty hardcore. What was he? Was he the Navy SEAL? Anyway, it's just teaching you how to be disciplined, teaching you how to be, self motivated and just willing to do the work. And then this book is called "Do the Work" by Gary John Bishop. What is he? He has an awesome accent. I just some of the Audible books, they have these generic readers. The author doesn't read the book, and some of these guys' voices and women's voices, like, I just can't stand them. But this dude, you might not like his. He reads his own books, and he's either Scottish or Irish. I'm not real good. I don't want to insult anybody. Their accent. I know they know the difference in their accent very well, but I can't tell the difference too much. But I think he might be Scottish. But anyway, he has this book, Do the Work, Stop Doing That Shit, Unfuck Yourself, and they're all just straight to the point. Quit messing around, you punk, and just do the work. Quit doing that shit. Do this shit. What's this other book? The Psychology of High Self-Esteem. And I'm rattling these books up, guys, because I'm just trying to give an example of, like, all the, besides the Word of God, which I try to split it up about 50-50, but, the Bible is just one book to say the Bible. There's 66 books in the King James Version of the Bible, but I just call it one book. And I like to read a lot, like Psalms and Proverbs and Ecclesiastes and the Song of Solomon. Of course, I read, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and, all the Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. I read all the books, but as far as self-help goes, it's Psalms and Proverbs and Ecclesiastes and Song of Solomon. Those are all the kind of the little one verse motivational, a wise man does this, a fool does this. And it's like, okay, that's pretty straight to the point, The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. If you don't know Grant Cardone, he is a big time, like, sales trainer. And, he goes to these big companies and does, like, sales training seminars. And so his 10X Rule book is kind of like what it sounds like. Just go hard, go 10 times harder at everything you do. And so books like this, I read them just periodically. I rotate them out. I have 84 books on here, but a couple of them are big. Some of them have like 20 or 30 books on one. So maybe let's just round it off and say I have 120, 110 books on here, whatever, and it just rotate them out. And they're almost all, self-help, self-motivating. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's an old classic one. Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is a really awesome book. And it's funny because atomic, it sounds like atomic bomb, but really it's talking about, like, an atomic, like, subatomic particles, and talking about these tiny habits that can become big things. And for me, I think about, like, just the tiny habit of beginning to take cold showers. And, I almost said in the morning, but I almost always shower in the evening. I shower after my work because I'm all dirty at work. But just that tiny habit got me into where it snowballed into other things, and so it was just a small atomic habit that built into, I quit consuming alcohol regularly. I quit smoking the e-cigarette I was using, worked out more, started a YouTube channel. It's like it led to other things. And that's kind of the idea of Atomic Habits. He talks a lot about how it just goes from one victory to another. Embrace Your Past and Win Your Future, The Longevity Solution, Hardcore Self-Help. That's another Gary. No, that's a Robert Duff one. It says Fuck Anxiety. It was a really short book. It was not that great. Mental Toughness and True Grit by Mark Dweck. That book was pretty good. This is the one I'm reading right now, is How Not to Die. And it's about, the guy starts the book off talking about his like 65-year-old grandmother. So he must have been pretty young for his grandmother to only be 65. But when the book starts, he's talking about she had some heart condition, like a congestive heart failure or something like that. And then through diet and nutrition alone, no surgery, no medications, the grandma figured it out and ended up living to be 96 and pretty much healed her heart through, healthy eating. And it's not a big deal. Like, it is not that hard to eat healthy. And you can go on your negative tip and say everything's full of genetically modified organisms and everything's been, but if you just quit eating processed food, you got 90% of it whipped. Because if you're eating an apple that's been sprayed with pesticides, it's way better than a piece of white bread. Like, it's not even comparable. You can wash it off. You can buy, try to buy some organic food, organic fruits especially. Some of them matter more than others. Some of them don't matter as much. If you want to Google that, like what organic foods really don't get your bang for your buck, I want to say like lemons and limes are one of them that really they don't do shit to anyway. So to get them organic really isn't that much. But don't quote me on that one because I don't really remember. A General Introduction to Psychoanalysis by Sigmund Freud. Stuff like that. The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud. Just learning about human behavior and understanding yourself. You don't think that could be beneficial to weight loss and overall happiness and joy in life. These two books. Really, you just need one of them. Dr. Jason Fung. Can't remember if he reads his own books. His voice kind of bores the hell out of me, but these books were great. The Obesity Code and the Diabetes Code. If you're overweight and you don't really understand why, and especially if you've made excuses for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, I have a poor metabolism, or I have a thyroid problem, or you need to read the Obesity Code. Forget the Diabetes Code one, because even if you have diabetes, the Obesity Code covers it all anyway. These authors are trying to make as much money as they can, so they make a book every angle of it. Life in the Fasting Lane is another. It's a fasting book by the same Dr. Jason Fung. So if you read the Obesity Code and then go straight into Life in the Fasting Lane, these two books will get you in the right direction big time. Oh my God, I love this book so much too. This is more of a motivational for working out for me, and kind of that face north, man. This is the direction I'm going and I'm not stopping. Never Finished by David Goggins. I haven't even read his first book yet. I think I have an extra credit on my Audible right now. I should probably download that one too, but I loved it so much, his story, and he's so inspirational. If you don't know who he is, I mean, if you're into fitness, you definitely know who he is, but he's a former fat kid that grew up in a, mom and stepdads and tough life growing up. And he has some kind of physical ailment, but he doesn't talk about it too much in the book because he's not a whining type dude, but he does have some physical setbacks in life. And then he becomes a Navy SEAL and goes on to become world record pull-ups. And he's just ridiculous extreme athlete, runs these hundreds and hundreds of miles, extreme marathons, and just his voice, he's got that deep military voice, like Drill Sergeant Kid from Screaming all the time. And I just love the dude. I think he's African-American. He's got just a cool voice, so I love his voice. I say I think he is because he's pretty light, so I don't know if he's mixed at all, but he's just an awesome dude, and I wish he was my next door neighbor and I could become best friends with him and he could just kick my ass all the time. Another book, I Know What to Do, So Why Don't I Do It? The title kind of fooled me. It's more of a collection of speaking engagements. It sounds like he's in an auditorium, and I was not happy with that book. 10% Happier, it's okay. The Confidence Gap, okay. This one I kind of like. It's not so much about weight loss, but it's 50 self-help classics to guide you to financial success. And classic books like Napoleon Hill. What's his books called again? Think and Grow Rich, and just the old famous authors. And so just this one, like I said, I got 84 books on here, but just this one has 50. So that's putting us up to 130 already. It's not all about weight loss, but some of them even do. Like, they're talking about financial success, and they talk about the diet you're on. They talk about the exercise program you're on. And that's why it's kind of probably what led my subconscious to name the channel the way I did, because I saw the relationship to it all. Your health and your wealth and your happiness being so tied together. Not that you love money, not that you love your physical health more than you love your spiritual health, not that you love the world more than you love your Jesus. You love your creator more than you love that which he created. But it's tied together. I mean, he created all these things. Nothing's bad about it. And to just learn how to live in balance between all those things. And so that's books like this, they really talk a lot about it, though, because it'll be a book about money and then barely bring up money. And it's like it'll be just bringing up like a lot of the foundational work of what you need to do to get there. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Pretty sweet book. Kind of how to just get over your own problems. Discipline is Destiny. I like that book a lot. I talked a lot about discipline. A lot of these books are just really rereadable too, where you can literally listen to them over and over and over and get more and more and more out of them. Some of them aren't, and one of them that isn't is Living with a Seal by Jesse Itzler. It's an awesome book where this dude hires this SEAL. He's like this guy's like, I don't know, he's like a corporate guy, maybe halfway up the corporate ladder. Maybe he's a CEO. I can't remember what exactly. He didn't make a big deal out of that part of the book, but he hires this Navy SEAL to pretty much live with him 24/7 and train him and get him eating right and working out right and getting that mental attitude. And it's just a crazy motivational book. Some learning Spanish, some Enuma Elish, if you know what that is. It's like a Babylonian creation myth. It's kind of interesting reading about these dragons and stuff. Rich Dad's Cash Flow. Okay, now we're back into some money books. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's a terrible name to the book by Mark Manson, but it's actually a really good book. Like you kind of see how it's true that people are more concerned with what other people think. They're like, like, oh, I'm going to go on a 24-hour fast. And it's like, well, so many people in my life are aware that I fast all the time, and they're not going to be able to talk me out of it by saying dumb shit like, well, that's not good for you. But people definitely did it a lot in the beginning, because they're just ignorant of the facts, and ignorance not an insult. It just means you don't know. And they don't know. They don't know that fasting is legit the fastest, most effective way to heal your body in like every conceivable way. This book I actually liked too. It was a collection. It was cheap. It was 6 simple self-discipline box set, and it was 6-book bundle by Martin Meadows. And they're all about discipline, and they're just kind of going at it at different angles. And you think, wow, how can you write 6 books on the same subject and make them functional together? And they really are. It's like one of them specifically is just about dieting. So a lot of them are just talking about discipline in general, but then one of them is talking about discipline and dieting and weight loss specifically. So that's one of my favorite books in that one. But also he has one of the books is like 365 days of discipline. It's like day 1, and so then it's like it has 365, and it's almost kind of like you're reading like Proverbs, where you just have these great advice, these great sage like sayings, and building up your discipline. And it pops in my head. Let's say I got a foundation of listening to these Audible books for like the last 10 years or whatever, and I've listened to some of them literally 20, 30 times each. It's in my head, and I'll get that desire to eat, or I'll see a snack if somebody offers me something, and it's not challenging at all. I even went and walked around, and we have like a open market at my work where it's like a little convenience store, and you just go ring yourself up. There's cameras and stuff, so it's all cool. But I just walked in there and looked around. Oh, there's a bunch of chips, there's a bunch of candy bars, there's a bunch of ice cream, there's a bunch of sodas. It all looks terrible. I don't want none of that. It's a little training for myself to just, that's what I'm leaving behind. I don't feel like I don't get to eat that. I feel like I'm winning. I feel like it's awesome to not eat that. And it was kind of a way to like take a victory lap by the enemy and be like, I got you whipped. Complete Guide to Fasting by Jimmy Moore, and Dr. Jason Fung's in this one too. So I remember that. I remember liking that book. Pretty good. Fuck Your Feelings, Master Your Mind. I don't remember liking that one too much. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind was a pretty interesting book, teaching you about how your mind works and how you can affect your subconscious. And if you ever heard so many of these books talk about like so many Buddhism and yoga and meditation, they always talk about breathing. They're like, and I never knew why until you start reading books about it. And it's like, it's the one thing that you do subconsciously that you can completely consciously control. For example, ever since I started this video, I haven't been thinking about my breathing. It's just happening subconsciously. But then as soon as I thought about it, I was able to consciously. And then so you can kind of tap into your subconscious like this is what these books do to you, do for you, help you. Like meditate, like what do they call it? Like getting hypnotized. It's really, you're doing it to yourself. Otherwise it won't work. And so it's kind of like tricking your mind into receiving these messages. Well, not even tricking. I mean, you're doing it on purpose, but to receive these messages on a subconscious level, to not to just say them, but so they continuously tell you to refocus on your breath. And it's because your breath is subconscious, and it's so cool that they figured it out. And then whatever you're meditating on, like, I will never overeat again. I only will provide my body with the fuel it needs to function at its peak performance. I will get my rest. I will drink my water. I will read the Bible. I will do my stretching. I will do my exercises, whatever. And it gets in there, and you don't even realize it. You don't even and all of a sudden you're winning, and life is you're just kicking ass and taking names and learning how to influence your subconscious mind like that can be so effective. I'm getting excited too to get through this How Not to Die book, because I'm just in the first couple 2-3 chapters, and the guy has a lot of great stuff, a lot of great advice. It's all this natural healing stuff, but I'll talk about that more because I haven't got through it yet. Make Your Brain Your Bitch by Reese Owen. I don't remember liking that book. If I haven't listened to it like 10 times, it's probably because I didn't like it. And I know I haven't listened to that one time. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. This is an old classic. It's more Bible based. I love this one. My cousin, Digo Double Desiree, she recommended this book to me about a year ago, and really enjoyed it. So it's kind of like all these other books, these self-help, positive energy, whatever, positive thinking. But this book is more Bible oriented. So he gives a lot of Bible verses and biblical ideas and principles and Christian beliefs, and then just straight up Bible verses, like where in the Bible that it supports these functions of positivity and belief that it is true. Like Bible says things like, as ye believe, so shall you receive. And it's not even a positive or a negative comment, right? It's saying you're in control. Like when the woman touched Jesus's robe, and Jesus spun around and was like, who touched me? And his apostles, I'd be like, what are you talking about? There's like 1,000 people pressing in on us. You've been touched by all angles. And he felt that energy, that when she touched him, that she was healed. And he looked around and he's like, woman, what have you done? And she was sick of what did she have? An issue of blood. And he said, what have you? And she said, I knew if I could just touch your garment, I would be healed. And what did Jesus say? He said, yep, my garment healed you. No, he didn't say that. He said, thy faith has made thee whole. And so that's kind of the Power of Positive Thinking by this Norman Vincent Peale book. It's a great book. I think he reads it himself too. So I kind of like it when the authors read their own books. They put a little more, a little more spunk into them. That's another book I should probably go back and read again. Jordan Peterson. Some people are big fans of his. Some people aren't. I am. I'm a fan. I enjoy psychology, and he was a clinical psychologist for 20 years, and I respect his opinion enough, at least to read it, to look into it, to listen to it. So wow, I had a couple people watching, and they popped off the second I said Jordan Peterson. Maybe they're not his fan, but his book Beyond Order, The Antidote to Chaos. I don't see that part, but I think that's the name of this book. 12 Rules for Life. Oh no, this was his. Okay, that was his second book. That wasn't Beyond. This is Beyond Order. Yeah. Maps of Meaning by Jordan Peterson was just way too complex for probably most people that are on this channel. Is for weight loss. Like it's not a weight loss book. Oh, there it is. There's Jordan Peterson's other book. He wrote Maps of Meaning way back. It was a really complex psychology book, but then he wrote 12 Rules for Life, which is more just trying to simplify some rules. He thought of it because he was answering questions on Quora, and he got a lot of like upvotes on Quora to a lot of his remedies for people's questions on there, and just life answering questions. And people were asking, if you could name a list, and he had a list of like 20 rules, and he boiled it down to 12 rules, and wrote a book about it. And the second one was um, the second one in that type of series was Beyond Order. He has another book coming out this year, We Who Wrestle with God. And I'm, after he's been, he works with the Daily Wire now, so I'm not a super big fan of that. He's kind of went corporate, but I think he's trying to do the most good he can do in the world. Talking about Jordan Peterson, I think he's just trying to, he believes what he believes because he sat in a psychology, in a clinical psychologist chair for over 20 years, and he saw what people go through, and I've seen the dude like break down crying just by realizing how little it takes to encourage people. It's like, hey, Billy, you're going to be okay. And Billy's like, really? Like he breaks down crying to realize like this person has so little hope that just saying, hey, you're going to be okay, like changes the dude. Um, all right. All right. This is one of my longer videos now, but I don't mind, to see what happens when I'm fasting, guys. See, I would have got home from work and I would have like, okay, let me make my live video, and I'd have been 20 minutes into it, and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go get something to eat. Like, see you later, guys. Now it's like when you're not eating, it frees up your life. Like, just think about, I don't have time to go to the gym, or you don't even need a gym. You really do not need a gym. You could sit in your living room floor in an 8x8 empty square, 6x6 empty square, and do push-ups, squats, planks, sit-ups, burpees, jumping jacks. I mean, just what I just named. You wouldn't even need that. That's it. You just do that. Just do each one. Ding, 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 ding. You'd be smoked. You don't do it. Just do burpees. Just do like what would we call them in the Army? They're a little more complex. I think they're called 8-count bodybuilders, where you kick your feet out, drop down into the plank position, drop down, boot, do a push up, jump back your feet in between your hands, stand back up, but jump. And then when you land, do a jumping jack, and then repeat. And, do 30 of those every morning. Like, you're going to be crushed. Where was I at? So some Jordan Peterson books, they're more psychology, but hey, weight loss is about psychology. And that's why I wanted to address in this channel more than anything is the psychology of weight loss. It just doesn't happen by exercising more and or exercise, and eating less. Yeah, those are going to lead to weight loss if you can stick with it over the long run, and if you can be disciplined, and if you can eat the right foods and do the right workout. But really, what's going to keep you sticking to it is the head game, the psychology of it all. So, Giant Steps by Anthony Robbins. I'm not a super big Anthony Robbins fan, but a couple of his books just kick ass for me. And Giant Steps is one of them, and Awaken the Giant Within is another one. That sometimes I'll listen to this. Is it this Awaken the Giant Within? It's only like an hour and a half or something, and I'll even listen to it on like 1.5 times speed. And it's just like super energetic, motivating, just gets me amped to go. The High Five Habit by Mel Robbins. I wasn't a big Mel Robbins fan at first when I first started listening to her books. I think the 5-second rule was the first book I read. But after I started following her and reading more of her books and following and seeing some of her lectures on YouTube, I became a bigger fan of her. So give her a chance, guys. She's an awesome speaker and author. And I think she really deserves your time to check her out. The High Five Habit, the 5-second rule. Life Force by Anthony Robbins. Terrible. Don't download that book. It seemed more like a commercial to sell a bunch of products. Like he went super corporate. Unshakable by Tony Robbins was a good one too. How to Think Like a Roman Emperor by Donald J. Robertson. It's So he's kind of referencing what's the book? The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, and Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic, and so this How to Think Like a Roman Emperor. It's kind of like it's almost like he's reading the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, but then adding to it and putting modern spins on it. And it kind of sounds like a copy cheap book, but it's really not. It's actually very well written, and the modern twist he puts on it to be more applicable to our times, really comes through in the book. And it's, I like longer books, like this book is, I don't even know. It's, like say 10 or 12 hours or something. Like you're getting your money's worth, I never listened to a book that long. So the Ultimate Jim Rohn Library, I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna have to check that. I think sometimes I download stuff and then I don't even get to it because I have so many other books. I am almost positive I never read that. There's a whole nother pack of books. The Road Back to Me by Lisa A. Romano. I'm not like this huge fan of Lisa Romano, but she has a great YouTube channel about like overcoming like a narcissistic husband or wife. It's more common that the man would be narcissistic. Like you think of like the alcoholic husband that beats his wife and then like apologizes and tells her he loves her in the morning and then does it again every damn day. Like that's a narcissist. But controlling, mean. So she overcame that. But it goes both ways. There's narcissistic women, there's narcissistic men. There's different types of narcissism, and I got my heart crushed a few years back, just crushed. Like I was like 49 years old, and I had like never had my heart broken this hard, and it was because I was dating a narcissistic person, or at least I thought maybe that was part of what her problem was, and well, of course you learn that a big part of the problem is you're not healthy, and you find broken people because you're broken. And anyway, her books have helped me a lot to get through that tough time, man. There was about a 3-month period there where I was crying like every single day. I was at work. I think it was back when it was back during COVID and we had to wear the mask. And I was so happy to have that mask on because tears were just pouring underneath that mask like all day, every day. The Road Back to Me is another book of hers. And the Codependent Now What is another book of hers. Those are nothing to do with weight loss, but if you're having some psychological issues, I think relationship problems and especially in America and the Western world, it's become so prevalent. And I don't mean to bash American women or Western minded women at all. Everybody has their own beliefs and their own tracks, but I'll just say there's a reason I went to the Philippines to find a wife. Man Up by Scott C. Schluter. Or Schuler, a really good book too. Just kind of a guy just stepping up his game for his family, for his wife and for his kids, and just turning it on, and wrote a book about kind of like the steps he took and the mindset he had, and what do you do to man up, and I've listened to that book several times too, to just when you're feeling like you're giving up and you're feeling like you don't know what to do next, and you're feeling like a quitter and a loser because you went on a diet, but then you ate a piece of cake. It's like, you just got to man up, you got to woman up. This is a book I finished yesterday or this morning. I don't remember. The Spartan Way by Joe DeSena. And oh my God, some of these names are just hard. By Joe and Jeff. Super cool book. It's another one of these listy type books where you got like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 12, and 10-day green smoothie cleanse. I was actually a part of a Facebook group, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, and they were doing this 10-day green smoothie challenge, and I joined it, and then I found out they were following a book, so I downloaded the book and listened to it, and I did a 10-day. I drank or ate nothing but green smoothies for 10 days, and definitely felt good. Cleanse you out. You're getting a lot of like spinach and cabbage type stuff, and spinach and kale and greens, and so that's the green part of it. And then you put some other vegetables and fruits and drink these smoothies and blah blah blah. It was pretty awesome. Oh, here's a bunch of books I'm not going to say. They're just too deep. Fast Feast Repeat by Jen Stevens. Pretty good book talking about how it's natural, like historically, for our ancestors to eat large meals because, like, eat a single large meal, like say a lion would do, because there's no refrigeration, there's no preservation methods of food. Foraging for vegetables, for example, like you couldn't possibly eat enough lettuce, like you'd starve to death. You'd be just gorging yourself on lettuce and you wouldn't get enough calories to even live. So, yeah, this book is talking about, you'd have to put out some effort and, catch an animal and get a lot more concentration of calories. For example, a gram of fat, like on a deer, has 9 calories per gram of fat, where a gram of carbs and protein only has 4 calories. And protein really doesn't even get burned as fuel. You could probably eat close to, at my size, I could probably eat over 100 grams of protein a day with zero net energy, because it's rebuilding blocks first before it becomes an energy source. So, Eat Smarter by Sean Stevenson. Kind of a basic, probably wouldn't recommend it, but it is kind of a good overall. I can't say I wouldn't recommend it. If you've seen Sean Stevens' podcast, he's got like a healthy diet, nutrition, workout podcast on YouTube, Sean Stevenson. He's a super cool dude. I like his voice. I like his character. I like his approach to health and fitness. It's just the book is so, it's almost like it really is this easy. It really is this straightforward. But when somebody writes a book about it, it just seems too easy and straightforward. Like, it's kind of like I'm saying, just eat more, eat less and move more. Like I don't think I'd write a book. Maybe that'll be my first book. Should I just write a book called Eat Less, Move More? I'm sure there's 20 of them out there already. I'll have to just spin my own copyright on it. Declare War on Yourself by Mark Summers. This is another book I've listened to dozens of times because it's just that inner battle. It's really what you're fighting. Like, don't deny, like, give yourself credit. Like, sugar is a chemical that they put in everything to get you addicted to it, and you are addicted to it. And bread is sugar. Like, you know what I mean? Like, refined flours are exactly like sugar. They impact your blood just the same. So, like, they put all these poisonous ingredients in all our food to get you addicted to them. So it's not exactly all your fault. But what is your fault is to give up, and to not fight back, and to not struggle and go to war with yourself every day, and get up and decide, like, this is it, man. I'm doing this. I'm going for it. I'm losing this weight. Which, by the way, guys, that reminds me, I have a little Q&A that I posted on the chat. I've never done this before. And I said, how much weight would you like to lose to enjoy the beach more this summer? Somebody answer that for me, just so I can see how it works. I don't even know where it will show up on my feed on this side. Engage with your audience. Start a Q&A. Yeah, because I don't see that anybody's answered it, but maybe somebody did. I don't know. I don't even know how to go to that part. Anyway, start a poll. Should I start a poll? No, I'm not going to start a poll. Oh, here we go. Live chat questions. No, I don't think anybody answered. Top chat, live chat. All right, guys. How far are we in? I think, we're over an hour. I love it. It's pushing 9 p.m. So I'm kind of just, I'm just killing my day. I'm not eating. I am fasting. I'm scrolling through all my books. The Mountain Is You. This is a newer one I just downloaded a couple weeks ago. I don't think I finished it all, which tells me I must not have been super excited by some part of the presentation. Maybe I did. No, it doesn't say I finished it. It's a cool thing on Audible. It tells you, like, if you finished the book or not. Last book it has here listed is Half Marathon Training Part 1. Build up your something. Build up your P. I can't tell what. I don't think it means build up your P. All right, guys. 24-hour fast. I hope you can catch in my enthusiasm and my high spirits here that it's awesome. I tried to talk myself out of my cold shower, and it didn't work. I turned the cold on, and I just stood there and let it freeze over my whole body. And I realized, my God, I'm not hyperventilating, breathing. at all. And it was really cool. Like, because the water's freezing. I'm in Minnesota. You got the pipes are below the frost line, but it's freezing solid frozen ground just right above that. So them pipes, that water is cold. I don't know if it's in the 50s or in the 40s. It's got to be in the 40s. I mean, it's obviously not frozen 32 degrees, but it is down there. It is just frigid water. And so good for you, just boosting your immune system. But it's, for me, it's psychological. It's like, I'm doing this because it sucks, and I got to do things that suck. And then you turn it around, and it's like, hey, it doesn't suck that bad, man, once you do it. Fasting, once you do it, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days, it's super easy. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better at reducing the size of my meals. I've gotten way better. I eat almost all unprocessed healthy foods. Like the 15 grain seeded bread or whatever I bought was probably the unhealthiest thing I ate in the last 2 weeks, because everything else has been fruits and vegetables, nuts, berries, and meat and eggs and fish. Like, that's it. And it's and then you season everything up and make things different ways. It's a million. It's not that restrictive at all. All right, guys, welcome to the new subscribers. We're pushing that sprint to get to 15,000 subscribers. So what? 14,712 as of today. So maybe we can hit, I don't know, 15,000 by probably not the end of the month, but maybe close. We'll see where we get. So welcome to the channel. I hope you guys can find some useful content. I hope you enjoy watching a guy talk about fasting and how easy it can be to improve your health. God, that just makes me remember. I just heard another video today, a doctor talking about a 1 week fast once a year reduces your lifetime. No, once ever. If you just do a 1 week fast, you reduce your chances of getting cancer by 70%. Like, from that day forward, because when your body starts consuming itself for fuel, it consumes the worst shit first, the broken shit, the used up shit. It consumes any precancerous cells, which we all have. You go on a week fast and they're gone. It's like start over that. Let's say it takes 10 or 20 years for that precancerous cell to become cancerous, and you're 7 years into that cell, and now it's gone. And those cells may return, and those negative cells may return, but now they started over, and now you just pushed your age limit out. Same with exercise. They talk about, like, every 3 hours you exercise, you live an extra hour or something like that. It's like, it's scientifically, it's researched, scientifically studied information that, averagely is true. It might be not exactly 70%. There's no way to know that. But when you add everybody up, it is 70%. And the same thing with living longer. Like, I saw a doctor talking about exercising. He says an overweight person who's exercising regularly will live longer than a person who's thinner that never exercises. It's like, because that what exercise is doing for you. Well, if you're exercising and you're still overweight, it's because you're not eating right. But what the doctor's saying is even that is better than eating less, so that you're a smaller person but never exercising. You think about our prehistoric condition as well. Like, you're exercising just to live. Like, you know what I mean? You're walking and gathering and hunting, and everything to do was work. And now we just have to sit around, and life is just too easy. Speaking of just sit around, I want to pop up my miles here for the day, because I bet you, my steps, I bet you I got a few steps in. 12,811, 6.8 miles. I would say that's just my work day, but I did jog 2 miles on the treadmill, so that counted that. I didn't put the little mileage thing around it or anything, but it still counts your steps when you're jogging on the treadmill. So, all right, guys, thanks for everybody that stopped in. I hope if you didn't hit that thumbs up, I hope you will consider doing so now. Hit that notification bell so you can see all my live videos when I go live. I'm going to be talking about fasting this week. It'll be a 24-hour fast, and then a 48, and then 72, and then we'll do a little math in our head, and then you get to 96, and we'll see if I eat a meal at 96, or if I just wait till Sunday morning and have breakfast, some eggs or whatever. The only thing I have in the house right now for food is about half a dozen eggs. So we'll see if that ends up being my first meal. Like I said, 4-day fast is not that big a deal to worry about breaking in your digestion too slowly. But like if I fasted for like 10 days, then I would do like, some fresh squeezed fruit juice and even some vegetable broth. I've done that before where you boil like potatoes, carrots, celery, onions. You can even throw in like some Italian seasoning or some sea salt and stuff like that. And then only drink the broth to break your fast. And then like for breakfast and then for like lunch, you can eat some of the vegetables or wait for dinner and eat some of the vegetables. Fresh squeezed lemon in water with some maple syrup. That's an easy way to break a fast with really easy on your digestion. That lemon really breaks up the mucus in your body, and then the grade B maple syrup, not some Aunt Jemima syrup, like real grade B maple syrup, and some cayenne pepper. That'll clean your bloodstream out real well too. So, all right, guys, I need to drink some water. I am feeling bleh, and I'm gonna get some rest. So you know what's up, guys? Jesus loves you. I love you, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.